Welcome to PacWestBassin. As most of you know, I've driven a Skeeter for at least the past 15 years, multiple different models, so I've been wearing this hat for an awful long time. I'm due for a new boat. Will I still be wearing this hat when the search is over? Stay tuned to find out. So my bass boat search started a while back. I've had 18.5-foot boats for pretty much my entire bass fishing career. I started fishing some of the ABA championships, some of the opens on larger bodies of water, and quickly realized I needed a larger boat. Not only for the speed down the lake, but also some pretty rough water. For example, 2020, the ABA championship was at Tri-Cities on the Columbia River, Wallula Pool. And my ABA co-angler, Brian Walker, and I, even in his 21-foot Triton, got into 6-7 footers that we barely made it back. That was the worst rough water I'd ever been in. And I couldn't even imagine being in that water in my 18.5-foot Skeeter, which I also brought with me to pre-fish. But we made the mistake of running all the way down to McNary in 50-mile-an-hour winds, so that was pretty much on us anyway. We knew what we were getting into. But the more I got to thinking about it, it made me realize I really need a bigger boat just for the safety aspect on some of the water bodies I'm going to be fishing, whether it's Banks Lake, Roosevelt, Columbia River, potholes, what have you. So that began my search. I wanted a boat that was definitely in the 20 to 21 foot class, excellent in rough water, pretty fast, and had really good handling. I know that seems like a lot to ask for in a boat, but I also don't want to break the bank on paying for that boat either. But as we all know, you got to pay to play when it comes to bass fishing. I started off by contacting many of my local dealers, whether it be, Skeeter, Basscat, Phoenix, Vexus, whatnot, and ordered all of the brochures for all of the makes, models, and whatnot of each manufacturer. If I was going to do an honest look at my next boat, I wanted to throw everything out on the table, go through the pros and cons of each brand, each model, and see exactly which one was going to be the right fit for me and how I fish and what water bodies I'm going to be on. So in alphabetical order, here we'll start. First on the list is going to be the Ballistic 204. I would also be interested in the 223, but I need a little more garage space, and that thing is a aircraft carrier. So for the Ballistic 204, they're just beautiful boats. Both Ballistic models are. I saw them in person when I went and fished ABA Southern Idaho at CJ Strike Reservoir, and actually got to talk to Jim and Earl Wells about them, and they showed me through a couple of them that were at the tournament, and they're just beautiful machines, well engineered. One thing I really liked about them is the layout on it, and an absolute massive deck. You can fit 8-foot rods in both rod lockers. I'd never have enough gear to actually fill that boat. The speed, they're very, very fast because they're also very, very lightweight. They're built strong because they use a vacuum seal to get all the air out of the fiberglass when they're making the hull. They have a whole video process on that on YouTube. Anyway, the console stability was another thing I liked. Jim Wells himself jumped onto a boat that was in the parking lot and literally jumped onto the console. Like both feet jumped onto it and jumped up and down. And it did not even flex, it did not stress crack, it did not do anything. And I thought that was quite impressive. Another thing I liked was the back of it where you can access all your pumps and everything. The bilge is, it takes 30 seconds to change a pump out, any one of them, which I thought was great. And it also has this battery tray that sits in the far back where your batteries are kind of tucked away from everything else, so they don't really get in the way. It's just a neat touch that I think they did right on that one. So for the cons for Ballistic, no local dealer. I don't have anyone in Western Washington or even Washington period that I can just randomly run my boat to if I have an issue, especially with hearing that they're now going to be moving the factory to Tennessee or some other state instead of being in Fruitdale, Idaho. That information may be misleading. I don't know what the true location's going to be, or if they're even going to move. I just heard there was some rumblings about that. No normal gauges on the console. The console may be rigid and stable, but it doesn't have normal gauges. And call me someone that likes to have everything the way they always have been. But I like to have gauges to be able to look at everything. I want to look at my water pressure. I want to look at my RPM gauge. I want to look at my trim gauge. I don't want to see a digital readout on my display. Call me crazy, but I just don't like having no control or anything. I'm sure you can have them put somewhere, and also the live well controls are all done through the sonar, which I thought was neat. But what happens if your sonar goes out? Do you lose all functionality? I like switches. I like being able to do everything manually, and I'm sure you could have it done up like that, but I just like to have everything readily available right in front of me. The biggest thing for me was not being able to get a boat right away. There is a massive wait list, over a year long, to get your order fulfilled. For someone that wants a boat, we don't want to place an order and sit there and wait over a year to get the boat. Excellent boat. Don't know if I can deal with the year-long wait, though. Next on my list is Basscat. And Basscat has 3 models that I was actually interested in. First being the Lynx, second being the Cougar, third being the Era. Now the Cougar has your normal, the Cougar FTD, or the 203 Hybrid, which is the Champion hull that's molded into the Basscat hull. Quite an interesting design. Handles rough water excellent. You do lose a few miles an hour though. So pros, style and design. These boats are beautiful. They have all kinds of weird curves and light up bars on the side to grab. The Era has little vents on the side that are different than any other Basscat model. The Lynx has a very odd shaped rod locker in the center, but each and every line on that boat has a purpose. When you open the rod lockers, you don't move the rods off to the side of the boat like you do on a Skeeter or a Ranger or whatnot, which is kind of neat. Another pro would be longevity of the brand. This year is actually their 50th anniversary, so that's definitely a pro when a boat company's been around for 50 years. Like I said, the unique lines and small little extras. Like, for example, there's a little RAM mount for your cell phone that pokes out from underneath the right side of the dash. Also has USB plugins right on the dash to plug your GoPro in or charge your phone or whatever. Another one would be resale. Basscats keep their value. I mean, I see boats that are 3-4 years old that they still want 90% of what their brand new value was. Basscat boats hold their value, and that's a good thing if that's the boat brand you're looking to get into. Also, a nationwide dealer network. And for me, I have a local dealer, a great Basscat dealer just down I-5 from me in Limit Out Marine. Russ Baker runs a great shop down there. The cons. Basscats are in the upper end of the price range I was looking at, but to keep the resale, you have to have a higher beginning. Another con is you really have to drive them. That it's not a boat that you just get in, put the pedal to the floor, and just hold on and go. It's definitely a learning curve to learn to drive them. And another con would be no-go if you have OCD. As I was explaining the lines, there are a lot of triangles, a lot of odd shapes, and that's purposely done by Rick Pierce. Each and every little line on there has a purpose on what it's for, and someone that has OCD might not like that. For example, you look at the line that goes straight down the center of the back of the boat where the live well's open is not centered in between the two seats. The passenger seat is moved over a little bit to add extra room for the passenger's rods to be stored. See, there's a reason for it, but it's just odd. My first look at a lot of the lines on these Basscat boats, I was like, that does not look good to me. But it kind of grows on you after a while. So overall, good quality boat. Each model's also going to be different on how you look at it. For example, the Lynx is going to be 20 feet 8 inches, I believe, and it is a wide deck. It's their widest deck they have. And the Cougar is kind of like the mid-range, and the Era is the sleek Ferrari of the group. The Era is the 94-inch beam, but it's also the fastest Basscat boat with a 250 on it, according to Rick Pierce in an interview he did with Ken Smith. So basically they have a boat for whatever your style may be. Next boat up is going to be the Caymas CX20. This is an Earl Bentz design boat. Definitely a pro. The guy has been designing boats for how many years? I really like the front of bow layout, how wide it is at the front. I like how the buttons sit up on the panel, just elevated a smidge so you're not tripping over it all the time. The coolest thing I've seen in a while as far as innovative is they have a high-speed water pickup for your live well. How many of us have realized we're losing water out of our wells if we're moving around quite a bit? And that doesn't happen with this. That's just a cool thing that you don't see on any other boat. Another pro would be rough water ride. I was talking to Dave Crom, who has a CX21, and he said it was the best rough water boat he has ever been in, and he has had a lot of boats. The man knows how to drive. He knows what he's doing. He basically said if it's rough and windy, no one is going to beat him to where he's going. And I believe him on that one. The cons, we're going to start off with price. I won't say the quote I was given, but priced higher than what Basscat is, and it's up in the area that Ballistic is. Another con, I was told they drive like a Triton. I never got actually behind the wheel of it, but I heard the CX20, you really have to drive. It likes to chine walk like a classic Earl Bentz Triton hull does. But like I said, I didn't drive it personally, so I guess I can't really say that much as a con until I actually got behind the wheel and drove one. Also a pro of it being an Earl Bentz boat is a con of it being an Earl Bentz boat. How long is he going to actually own this company till he sells it off and retires or moves on or whatnot? And then you're left going, who's running this now? I'd rather have a brand that the owner is still around, or his take on boat engineering is still in play. For example, like Forrest Wood with Ranger. You can still see things that he has done and that are still in every Ranger model that comes out on the floor, even though he's not affiliated with Ranger anymore. Rest in peace, Forrest. Next boat on my list is going to be Nitro. Whether it be the Z20 or Z21, pros right off the bat, everyone is going to know what the first one is: price. This is your, I won't say budget, because nothing that's above 50,000 I consider is going to be budget boat, but its price is definitely in a better ballpark than some of the other boat brands I've already named. Another good pro is their website, their little boat builder on there. You actually get the price of what that boat is going to be, and you can print it out and bring it right to the dealer, and you know exactly what you're going to pay. That is very nice. A lot of boat manufacturers will not do that because they want you to come talk to their dealer and let the dealer do the negotiating. And I'm not really a fan of that, but I like this way. I like being able to see what the price is on the website. Too many times you're looking online and it says contact dealer or call for a price. I just skip it if I see that. It drives me nuts, honestly. Another pro would be the dealer network. You can get that boat worked on or seen at any Bass Pro Shops that has a marine shop on it, which I think they all do. Plus any other dealers that have taken on their dealer network. Another pro would be rough water ride. I had a friend of mine that has been driving Skeeters for quite a while tell me that the new Z20 and Z21 hulls are the best rough water riding boat they've ever been in. So that actually raised an eyebrow when I heard that, because I usually didn't associate a good rough water ride with Nitro. Maybe I need to broaden my horizons a little bit. Cons. Number one would be forced to get a Merc. If you are someone that likes your Yamaha SHO or even your Evinrude G2, even though now they're discontinued, you can't have one. You cannot even order the boat from Bass Pro Shops without a motor on it. It is in Bass Pro's contract with Mercury that they must provide a Mercury outboard for every boat that rolls out their door. That is a direct quote from the sales guy I talked to at the Tacoma location. Add-ons. The cons. This is where the price adds up. The basic price for the boat is great. The add-ons to make it a premium boat are where they get you. That $55,000, $57,000 Z20 all of a sudden becomes a $75,000 boat in 3 clicks of a mouse. It's amazing how that can happen. With all the add-ons, it just gets to be right around the same price of a comparably equipped other premium boat. So we'll go to the next one, which is resale. Nitros do not hold their value. If you're planning on getting this boat and keeping it for 25 years and then just, giving it to a family member or selling it for whatever you can at that point, go for it. If you're looking for resale in a few years, or even 10 years, this would definitely not be the boat for you. Another con would be fit and finish. And any Nitro owner can tell you some lines don't line up, some paint doesn't look right, sometimes the metal flake isn't consistent in the paint job or gel coat. My own personal experience, I went to the Cabela's in Tulalip, Washington, and they had one on the showroom floor that they had just got in a couple days prior, and there was already a big crack, like a big stress crack in it, and it was noticeable and large. And I made a comment to the salesman about how much money you'd taken off for this. And he just looked at me like I'd lost my mind and says, nothing. Whoever buys it can deal with it. That didn't sit well with me. If the dealer rep is going to say that, blemishes like that are no big deal, then obviously whatever warranty issues I'm going to bring back to him, he's just going to say that's no big deal either and just shoo it on down the road. So that was not okay with me. So at that point in time, I can already say Nitro is off my list. Next on the list is Phoenix. I was looking at a 920 Elite. Beautiful boat. Great all-around boat. Everything on this boat just says this is a pro boat, pro level boat. Styling and looks just to a T, looks great. Good speed, good handling, good rough water capabilities, large center tackle storage. I really like the tackle storage system on the Phoenix boats. There was a lot of thought process put into that. Another good pro for that boat is going to be local dealer access. Once again, I have Limit Out Marine that is a Phoenix dealer. Great dealer. They'll take care of me on that one if I decided to go with a Phoenix. The cons of the Phoenix. It is such a popular boat around here that so many other locals already have them. So it wouldn't be too original, but if you like the boat, you like the boat. The biggest con for me, and the only knock I really can give the Phoenix in overall performance, looks, longevity, the only thing I can hit it on is I do not like the design of the driver's console. I feel that for such a great boat, the driver's console is just bland. And that's just my feeling about it. It could be someone that likes Pepsi and you hand them a Coke and they take one drink and they're like, ugh, you know. I'm not saying that it's a horrible design dash. I mean, everyone has their own taste in it, but just the dash, the console just doesn't fit my taste. Other than that, everything else in that boat is beautiful. Number 6 on my list is a true blue blood in the bass boat industry, Ranger. Looking at the 521L boat. This is their widest boat they've had. And at the time of doing this, I had no idea that they were going to be discontinuing the L boat and going with the R boat now. So while I was doing my research, the R boat wasn't out, so I can't say anything about the R boat. Although it does look pretty dang cool. So pros for the Ranger 521L boat. Very wide deck. The widest deck that I had seen up to that point. A lot of fishable space. A lot of stability. You walk back and forth on the front deck and the boat really doesn't move. Blue blood name. I mean, you think Ranger, you can't help but think bass boats. Rough water handling, tons of storage, rides like a Cadillac. I got to ride in Tim's boat in Idaho, and it was just like on rails. It was just a Cadillac. It was almost felt like an air ride system, but it wasn't. Love the console. I've always liked the Ranger consoles. This design, when they first came out with the C boats years back, this console design I always loved. And then resale. Rangers will always sell. Rangers always keep their value, always have, always will. That's one thing. It's always a guarantee with a Ranger boat is you're going to be able to hold the value in it. Cons for the Ranger. Space in my garage. Like I said, it's a wide boat. I'm going to need extra space to fit it in my garage. I just don't know if I can fit an extra wide boat in there. The speed. The biggest hit you'll ever get anyone to say about Ranger is it's quote-unquote Ranger fast. If you're looking to go 70 miles an hour or under and are worried more about ride and rough water handling, this boat is your boat. This boat is going to cruise like a Cadillac at 70 or under. Wanting to get any higher than that, you might want to look at either a different model or a different manufacturer. This is not a go fast boat. The other con is quality after the Bass Pro acquisition of the Ranger brand. After Forrest Wood left, I don't know if it's the exact same after the Bass Pro acquisition. I don't know if the quality, fit, and finish is the exact same as when Forrest was running things, but we'll see. It'll take time to really learn and to see what Johnny Morris and his group is actually going to want to do with the Ranger line. They definitely like to promote their Nitro brand over any of the other acquisitions, so we'll have to see how it goes from here. But overall, that Ranger 520L that I rode in with Tim in Idaho, excellent boat. Love the boat. The only thing I wish it was faster, but we'll see. Will it make the cut? Boat number 7 is going to be Skeeter, whether the ZXR or the FXR series. Both boats are great fishing machines. I have only known Skeeter boats. Last 15 years of my fishing career, I've fished in nothing but Skeeters as far as being the boat owner. From my very first boat, which was a 1990 40th anniversary SF-175, to my last current boat, which was a ZX-190, Skeeter has been everything I've known. So pros right off the bat is going to be experience. That's my comfort boat. That's, fits like a glove. I sit down, I mash the pedal to the floor, hold that steering wheel, I know what to expect. I know how it's going to handle. I know how it's going to jump out of the hole. I know how high I need to trim it. I know where the jack plate settings are. It's just stable. It's exactly what I've been fishing for my whole career. I love the ride. It's a boat that you can just put the hot foot down and hang on. It's like on rails. Some people say they do have a tendency to wash out if you take a hard corner, and there was even a detailed description of that in one of their books a few years ago. I remember it being showed to me, but I don't remember at the time. Anyway, style and design. It's a classic design. You see the back of a Skeeter boat, you see those sponsons, you know that's a Skeeter. You see it going down the lake, you see that rooster coming out the back, you know that's a Skeeter. Another pro is going to be the price of the ZXR series. The new series, the ZXR20 and ZXR21, is great for boats of the 20 and 21 foot class at really an entry level price is great. Not everyone has 80, 90, 100,000 to get into a 21 foot boat, but the ZXR pricing, Skeeter did a good job on including not just the top echelon of boat seekers in that category. Another pro would be nationwide dealerships. You can't go pretty much anywhere without running into a Skeeter dealership. Granted, we only have one in the state of Washington, but they're all over. California, Texas, whatnot. You're going to find someone that can repair a Skeeter. The cons. Limited color options in the ZXR and limited color options in the FXR unless you're willing to spend a lot more money for the custom paint. I wish you could just pick the colors you want instead of the prefabbed 5 to 8 color palettes that they offer for the ZXR. I think that too many people are just going to have the same colors. You show up to the boat, oh, you have color option 1, oh, so do I, or you have color option 5, oh, I guess that's 20% of the people have that. So I really don't like how they did that, but it is definitely not a deal breaker. Small lid on the back. That was one thing I always had an issue with my last ZX190, is a very small bilge access lid. Every time I would have to do something in the bottom, I would have to remove the battery charger to get to a pump. That doesn't work when you're in the middle of the lake during a tournament. You're hosed at that point if you lose your live well pumps. You either need to weigh in early or cycle water manually with a bucket or something, or else your fish are going to die. Unless you have a full-blown toolkit in the back to remove your charger tray to get to your pumps. And also, you're going to end up having sore ribs from having to bend over the deck lid, because the deck lid only turns up so far. It doesn't just pop off like the Basscat back deck lids do. Or even Buddy had a Ranger that he took the rivets out, and you could pop that one off. But anyway, yeah, just not good access to the back area, and I'll include a picture of what that back area looks like on the newer models. Fit and finish, definitely a con lately. I don't know if quality control at Skeeter's gone downhill or what, but if you look at the Skeeter owners Facebook page, it's like one out of every 3 posts on there is someone that just bought a brand new boat or a boat within a year, and they're having problems, whether it be wiring issues, voltage loss to the front deck for their graphs, screws popping out on the rub rail. They open their drain plug and 4, 5, 6 screws or bolts come dropping out into the parking lot. Stuff rattling loose. I don't know if that's just guys not maintaining their boats correctly, or whether that's actually a fit and finish issue at the factory. You would think with a brand new boat they shouldn't have those kind of issues. And the final con I'm going to say is stress cracking. It's amazing how many Skeeter boats I see with stress cracks on them in the gel coat. Just little spider cracks here and there that you just don't see at every other boat manufacturer. But overall, I love Skeeters. I've always loved Skeeters. Overall, Skeeter is definitely going to be a tough brand to beat for me. I've been brand loyal for so long, it's just hard to walk away from that boat. So whether I look at a ZXR or whether I actually go all out and get an FXR, both boats are in play. Next boat number 8, is Triton. Everyone's heard of Triton. It's another blue blood in the bass fishing community. Number 1 pro right off the bat is going to be name status, which in turn also keeps its resale value up, which is my pro number 2. Anyone that's bought a Triton knows how expensive they are, even used Tritons. Usually Tritons are going to be a high quality boat. They're going to be fast, but you're going to have to drive them a bit. Everyone knows that Tritons have a chine walk issue, but if you're good at driving a Triton, you can pretty much drive anything. The layout. They have great layout on the Tritons. My friend Brian has a 2008 21XS and has more than enough storage for everything I would have on it. Speed. Tritons are always going to be fast, no matter what, whether it's the 21 footers or if you're looking down at the 19 footers. I mean, obviously I'm looking at a 20 to 21 footer. You're going to get speed with a Triton. Cons. The new boats, I don't see anything really innovative or game-changing out of them. Nothing super new. It just doesn't look like they're really trying anymore. Now that Earl isn't part of it. Another con to go along with that is going to be how long are they even going to be around anymore after the Bass Pro Shop takeover. I would be concerned more about that with Triton than Ranger. It just seems like there's not much effort being put into the Triton line by the holdings group that purchased Triton. The biggest con for me, and this is going to be kind of strange, is the console shape. It's this square wannabe Nitro look. I don't like it at all. I was watching the reveal of the new Triton by Randy Howell at the expo for the Bassmasters Classic, and it didn't look that great of a boat, and I just was not happy with everything that went to deal with that boat. I just thought they could have put a lot more effort into it to keep the line going. So for me, I'm probably going to take Triton off my list just from being as I'm looking at a new boat, and I do not like the way the new Tritons look. Now that brings me to the other category in boats. So that has brands like Allison, Blazer, Bullet, Charger, Vexus. These are all boats that I really have zero interest in. The Allison, the Bullet, Charger, I mean, they're go-fast boats, yes, but I have no dealer network whatsoever for them around here. I have a friend with a nice Bullet that he absolutely loves, but I just didn't feel that any of those boats were going to be ones that I needed to really look into. Of all of those, the Blazer would have been the only one, but still, the closest dealer is, I believe, Kansas or something like that. So I just don't feel that any of those boats would be in my wheelhouse personally, but that doesn't mean that you could take them off your list, because you could make your own decision. Vexus does have a dealer in my area, but it just didn't tickle my fancy, so to speak. I did not like the design on the rails that come around the side. I didn't think the colors were very good. They're very plain. It's a very plain boat. But it did have a few things that I did like. I did like that it's very roomy inside. I do like how the seats are mounted. You can get the air ride pedestals that help out in rough water. But the best thing on a Vexus is the live wells. They have the clear slam lid on it that you can fill all the way to the top, and you can even pressurize the live well if you want. And that makes it so in rough water, your fish don't go flying around inside and slamming against the lid and slamming against the side. I think that was a great innovation by Vexus. I just don't feel a Vexus is right for me. It's the same as if, you took someone that's a diehard Ford fan to a Chevy dealer and ask them what they think. They're not going to give you the answer you're looking for. And in my case, Vexus just didn't do it for me. They're a big boat that definitely a lot of people are going to love. I just don't happen to be that person. If I was looking at aluminum boats, Vexus would be 100% at the top of my list if I was looking at aluminum boats. I have a friend of mine that recently bought one and absolutely loves his. So aluminum boats, Vexus would be at the top. Fiberglass boats, not going to make it for me. Now, there is one other boat brand that I did not even think about looking into until after I had already made my decision and actually pretty much just about purchased my boat. My friend Sean brought Falcon Boats into the conversation. I never even thought of giving them a chance until I actually went and looked online at the boat that he was ordering, and I absolutely love that boat. I believe it's the 204 Predator. Amazing boat. I love the wide deck, 99-inch beam. I mean, still, I don't think I'd be able to fit that in my garage, really, and still have room to walk around. But I just think that the amenities on it and what it is and performance-wise, it's a great boat. But in my case, I had already made my decision before that boat came into the mix. So if you're a Falcon fan and think that I'm hosing you because I didn't include you in my review, here it is. So, with that being said, we have the final four. After weighing the pros and cons of every brand I've went through, with experience, the feel, the speed, the amenities, the storage, even the size of the gas tanks, I came up with a list for my final 4 brands. And at that point in time, anything that was not in the final 4, I pretty much set them into a stack and they were done. So, in no particular order, my final 4 was going to be my trusty glove, my boat that I've been used to forever, the Skeeter. I think that was pretty much going to be in the final 4, even if I didn't like some of the stuff. I've been Skeeter tried and true for many, many years. Number 2 is going to be the Ballistic 204. Great boat. I didn't even have Ballistic on my radar till I started fishing down in Idaho and met Jim Wells and Earl Wells and saw a few of those boats up close. Fell in love with them. Number 3 is going to be the Ranger 521L. Gotta love a Ranger. They're going to ride excellent. Great storage. I love the design of the console. And it just felt good to drive. It felt like that Cadillac, that comfort car. And then number 4, last but not least, is going to be Basscat. And whether I'm looking at the Cougar, Lynx, or Era, I just felt the Basscat had a lot of the things I was looking for. The innovative designs, the speed, the size of the fuel tanks. I think the smallest tank out of the 3 models here is 52 gallons. That's going to get me to and from wherever I need to be. So there's my final 4. Can you guess which 2 are moving on to my final 2? So down to the semifinals. We have Skeeter, Ballistic, Ranger, and Basscat. So, without further ado, the first boat I have to eliminate is going to be the Ballistic. The main reason I have to eliminate the Ballistic is the waiting list. Over a year to get a new boat. They're a small family ran organization, which I love. I love that fact about it, that if I have a question, I can call and ask Jim Wells a question about his boat, and I'm going to get an honest answer. But with the uncertainty on where the factory is going to be moved to, or if it's moving, or I guess I don't even know all the details on that, but no dealer that's a short drive from my house. I just can't see doing that, unfortunately, even though I absolutely love the Ballistic boat. The other boat I have to eliminate is going to be the Ranger 521L. Speed. I need something that's going to do over 70 miles an hour. I'm competing with guys that are in faster boats, consistently beating me to different places. In my ZX190 Skeeter that I've been running, that was a big thing. I keep getting passed by everyone going down the lake. At CJ Strike Reservoir in Idaho, I was 3rd to launch out at one tournament. I was the 8th boat to get to the first rock island. And that didn't sit well with me. So I can't have a boat that has Ranger speed. And also, I don't know how much Johnny Morris Holding Group is going to destroy the Ranger brand. The Ranger brand now is not what it was when Forrest owned it. And a lot of diehard Ranger guys will hate to admit that, but it's true. So that leaves the final 2 being my tried and true Skeeter and the up and coming Basscat. Who's it gonna be? So now that we've been through all of that, all the boat models, all the options, what I like, what I dislike, what's your guess? I never thought I'd say it, but the Skeeter hat is coming off. I'm going with Basscat. I went with the Basscat era. So exactly why did I choose my Basscat era? Well, that's kind of a complicated question. And it started with Skeeter. I just don't know if I can trust the brand that's having a lot of quality control issues lately. I love my Skeeters. I still love the brand new Skeeters, but I think it's just time for me to move on and try something different. I had multiple conversations with people that owned both Skeeters and Basscat Boats on the Elite and FLW tour. And just with those conversations, it just kept leading me more and more and more towards Basscat. I had a good conversation with Bob Downey, a pro from Wisconsin, and he told me that, at the end of the season, his boat was going to be up for sale. And he gave me a price on it, and I thought that was a very reasonable price. And I picked his brain about the boat quite a bit. I talked to quite a few other people that were very familiar with Basscats. I picked their brains about it, and I asked 1,000 questions to a few guys that I trust their opinions. Everything came back that the era, I couldn't go wrong with it unless I wanted a bigger deck. And that's where the Lynx came in, is where if I wanted that bigger deck, I needed to go for the Lynx. But I thought, you know what? I've dealt with a smaller fishing area in the front for the past I don't know how long, so I don't think it would be that hard of a change to go to the era versus the Lynx. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to go for it. I also liked that the access to the factory. If I have a problem, I can pick up the phone call. I can call Rick Pierce personally. You can't do that with Skeeter. Does anyone know who's actually in charge of Skeeter, the brand itself? Crickets. I don't remember one name. I've been with Skeeter for years and don't know who actually is in charge. So that may be me being ignorant, but I think it's really cool that I can just pick up a phone and call the factory and talk to someone that's in charge. In fact, when I purchased that era from Bob Downey, I actually had to call the factory to get some information, and I talked to their regional sales rep, and he called me back right away. It was, pretty cool being able to call and get a call back right away from Kevin Short and getting answers to what I needed, and that doesn't happen with many manufacturers. Although I bet that would happen with Ballistic. I bet I could get a call back from Jim Wells or he would answer the phone right away. So I will give Ballistic credit for that. But another thing that I like is parts availability. You have a Basscat from the 80s and the 90s, you can still call their parts department and get different pieces for your boat that are broken. You can order parts from boats that are 10, 20, 30 years old. That's just cool. That just tells me the longevity of that brand is going to keep on going. If I have an issue with a light bar or a seat or a live well lid or carpet, I can make a phone call even 10, 15, 20 years down the road and get a replacement. That's great. I definitely know I cannot do that with Skeeter. I could not find parts at Skeeter Corporate for my 2008 or my 1990, especially the 1990. The other one that sealed the deal for me was family. The Basscat family is the most dedicated group of individuals in the fishing industry. No one defends their brand like Basscat owners, and that tells you something. If someone's willing to help you on every forum without putting you down, that tells you something. You go and you look on the Basscat owners page on Facebook. Guys are constantly helping each other with issues. You go on the Skeeter page, you go on the Ranger page, you go on the Triton page. Guys post something, and the next thing you know, the first person says, "Oh, noob, you didn't know that," or maybe you should go buy a manual, or just snarky little responses. Versus the Basscat group, they have their own forum on Basscat's website. That's pretty cool too. I just thought that overall, when you buy a Basscat, you're family. You're not just an owner. You're welcomed into the family, and that was really, really nice to see and be a part of. So, in conclusion, a few guys that I want to say a big thank you to that helped me in making this decision along the way. First and foremost is going to be Daryl Okamika. He is who really got me interested in the Basscat line of boats. Next is going to be Russ Baker. I bounced a ton of questions off Russ Baker from Limit Out Marine. Guys, if you're looking for a Basscat or even a Phoenix, Russ Baker will take care of you. Mike Dominic. I bounced 100,000 questions off that man. Thank you for the time and effort you put into helping me make my decision, Mike. It's greatly appreciated. Jeremy Wise, Zach Barnes, Cody Detweiler, and Andrew Benke. You guys all helped me out answering the questions here and there and whatnot, and I appreciate each and every one of you for what you did. So I am feeling welcomed into the Basscat family, and looking forward to going and enjoying my new boat. Next video I do will probably be a walkthrough of it.